Ladies, so you're dealing with a crazy mom. You're getting married and everybody's super excited, but all of a sudden your mom became Meryl Streep in the movie The Devil Wears Prada.
Truth is, there is no one that can do what I do, including her.
Okay, so we all know that weddings should be, a time for everybody to be super excited, really having fun. But the truth of the matter is that there are some people who are going to make you absolutely insane. Now, I would never assume that it's going to be another woman who potentially looks at this as her wedding or makes this anywhere near stressful for you at all. I mean, that's never been heard of. But how do you take care of one of the most influential people in your life? Your mom.
Oh no.
Mom, if you're watching this, I love you. But the real reason why I'm bringing this up is because everybody has their own opinions, and sometimes other people's opinions are going to start overshadowing your vision for your wedding. So what's the problem? How am I going to get my mom to start understanding how I'm thinking, understand my vision, and to, quite honestly, back off a bit? As always, there are a couple of phases that come into this, and we have to start from the earliest phase, which is understanding how your mom is thinking. Now, believe it or not, before I started doing this, there was actually a whole study on this by, therapists and psychologists and people who actually study this more in depth. And the more I actually read into it, the more it kind of made some sense. So a lot of the times your mom is going to start thinking a certain way based on her experiences through her wedding or the lack of a wedding. It also has to do with if you are the only child or not. So for example, ladies, if you're the only daughter, you best believe that your mother's going to try to do everything in her power to make sure that this wedding is everything and beyond amazing for you.
See, that's what we do. The parents, they give a gift.
Oh.
So let's get started. Let's figure out how do we get mom to back off. I always believe that you always attract more bees with honey than you do with vinegar. And a lot of the times with the stressful situations of planning a wedding, this can get a little overwhelming when your mom starts putting in her input when it's not asked for, or she voluntarily does something without your permission to move things along with the wedding. And that can drive you crazy. But keep in mind, most of the time it's out of compassion and out of love that she's doing it, and you have to be empathetic with that. So the first thing I always tell you to do is always remember that it comes from a good place. Okay, so let's talk about the controlling moms, right? Because there are different scenarios here. Controlling mom is somebody to tell you to do something and you have to do it, right?
Yesterday you said tomorrow, so just do it! Make your dreams come true!
A couple problems you might come into with a controlling mom. Number one, she may try to pull, I'm your mother, I know best. I know, honey, just listen to me. When she says that, she does mean her best, but at the same time, she does it based on a standpoint of she's your elder, she knows what is best for you, and she's doing it so that way you have the best experience possible. But if it goes completely against your vision, the first thing you have to say is real simple. Mom, this is not what I had in mind.
What if I don't want to live the way you live? Oh, don't be ridiculous, Andrea. Everybody wants this.
Remember, you are the bride, and ultimately you have the last say. Number two about controlling moms is usually if they have a financial stake in the wedding. If they are paying for a certain aspect, then most likely they're going to say that I'm in control because I am paying for it. And ladies, bite your lip. Unfortunately, she's right. In regards to finances, let's all face it, not all of us can afford the biggest, grandest wedding that you see on TMZ or on VH1 or whatever female channels that you watch. But ultimately, if she's paying for something, it's out of the goodness of her heart and she's aiding you with your wedding. Therefore, if she thinks that this is good for your wedding, it's her money, she's in control of it. Another thing about controlling moms is that a lot of the times they become controlling because they have nothing else to do or they feel like they're secluded from the wedding. If you're not bringing your mom into the realm of this, not telling her what you want her to help you with, she's going to automatically start taking control of things that she thinks she has to. Okay? So let's play this back. She's going to automatically start taking control of things that she thinks she has to. If you don't tell your mom to do something, and she's a controlling type of person, she's gonna go off the rails and she's gonna go do what she thinks is best. Yeah, unfortunately, nobody can stop Momzilla.
Somebody stop me!
So here are a couple of solutions for controlling moms. Number one, from the get-go, you should understand who your mom is and what she's going to try to do, and remember to empathize with her situation. Next, I would entirely show her your vision. If you have a Pinterest board, show her that. If you have a photography catalog, show her that. If you have a venue idea, show her that as well. Show her your menu. Show you whatever you think you want her in control of. But keep in mind, you want her targeting in one or two specific areas. Remember, when you're doing this, you want to give her a few things for her to take control of. If you don't give her anything, she's going to go off the rails and start picking up the things that she doesn't have to do. So you want to make sure that you target specific things that you want her to take care of and let the controlling mom take care of them. It's one less thing off your back. It's good. Let's talk about mom number two. The mom who never had the wedding that you're having. Oh my God. This is what I call Cinderella Complex, right? You have the crazy stepmom who is pretty much controlling of Cinderella from having a better life than what she's currently having. And whether your mom knows it or not, she might be that person. Like I said at the beginning of the video, empathy always wins, and keeping in mind that she's trying to do what's best for you, she's also thinking, what would she want for her wedding? A lot of the times, a simple conversation to let out her emotions are usually the best way to stop her from inputting herself into the wedding. Now you're probably thinking, John, why would I want to do that? Because that's just going to make her think that I'm going to do that for her. You'd be surprised. There are a lot of things that she might bring up before she does them that might capture your interest, and maybe, hey, just maybe, you actually like the idea.
I don't believe you.
Look, do everything you can to actually convince your mom that you're actually thinking of her. Another thing with this is try to highlight why it's so important to her, right? You know, I'm not trying to get into therapeutic issues here, because the truth of the matter is this is usually a pretty simple solution. You have to lay down a line that this is your wedding and not hers, but you're willing to take certain ideas that she had for her wedding and maybe implement it into yours. By doing so, you're actually going to let her take a back seat a little bit and make her feel reassured that maybe her dreams may actually come true. And let's talk about the emotional mom. Emotional moms, oh boy. Psychologically, they get overstimulated very easily, whether it's by stress, by its sadness, happiness, enthusiasm, whatever it might be, they get a little bit carried away. These are usually the most detrimental to most relationships because it's not only affecting you as the bride, it could also be affecting your groom or your significant other in regards to actually planning the wedding. The only thing I can tell you about these is to always make sure you're monitoring their emotions. If you're seeing that it's making them upset, address it immediately. If you're seeing them they're getting too crazy, calm them down. Ultimately, you do have to play a little bit of emotion handler here, because if you don't, like I always say, things get insane, and then you're just going to have to eventually and unfortunately begin to distance yourself from their presence during the planning. Now that you understand how to handle each and every person, here are a couple of standardized guidelines that do apply for all types of moms, no matter which one you're dealing with. Number one, and the most important one, establish that there is a line that is to not be crossed, and if it is crossed, it's going to cause a friction between you and that person. Number two, give them assignments. Make them feel like they're part of the wedding. Like I said earlier, if you feel like you're not giving them enough, you most likely are not giving them enough. Rule number three, which actually ties to number two, is make sure that your vision is extremely clear and you know exactly what you want. Don't communicate anything until you actually make all the decisions you need for them to take a part of the planning. Otherwise, they're just going to start rambling and do what they want to do. And the fourth rule, which could arguably be the most important, is don't let their opinions get to you that emotionally. Okay? A lot of people think that when somebody gives their opinion that doesn't, match with yours, that it's going to be a negative outcome. It's very hard for us to swallow our pride, and we have to keep in mind that these people are looking out for the best interest of our wedding and for our lives. All right, guys, so if you got a crazy mom, you're dealing with a crazy mom, I want to hear about it in the comments below. Tell me a couple scenarios, stories, so I could actually hone in on them and see if maybe I could fix them or help these situations get better. My name is John Devine. If you guys liked this video, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit that little bell to make sure that you get notified every time I post a new video, and of course, share this with other brides. Let's get this word out. Let's make these tips worldwide to make it easier for brides like you.